As I was revolving these matters in my mind, while the war was still in progress, I was visited by a sudden feeling of the cruel and unnecessary character of the contest. It seemed to me a return to barbarism, the issue having been one which might easily have been settled without bloodshed. The question forced itself upon me, why do not the mothers of mankind interfere in these matters, to prevent the waste of that human life of which they alone bear and know the cost? I had never thought of this before. The august dignity of motherhood and its terrible responsibilities now appeared to me in a new aspect, and I could think of no better way of expressing my sense of these than that of sending forth an appeal to womanhood throughout the world, which I then and there composed. Arise, then, women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether our baptism be of water or of tears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands will not come to us, reeking with carnage, for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not
be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We, the women of one country, will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs.
Mother's Day was not a holiday made by See's Candy or by Hallmark cards or by 1-800-Flowers. That Mother's Day really originated as women coming together to say no to war. This was in the wake of the Civil War we had in our country, and a woman called Julia Ward Howe wrote this beautiful proclamation that said we women should rise up and we should be too tender towards other women to allow our sons to injure theirs. And we felt like, we must reclaim Mother's Day. Here we are at a point in our history where we have a guy in the White House here who believes that it's okay to do preemptive war, did it in Iraq, now thinking about it in Iran. And we as mothers can't just sit around and allow them to take us into these disastrous wars. So we're here to say it's time for mothers to rise up. It's time for us to force our representatives to listen to us. And it's time to bring the troops home and no war in Iran.
From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm.
Disarm! The sword of murder is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out dishonor, nor violence indicate possession.
Bush and Bin Laden, you think they're foes? They're in business together. Daddy Bush knows the Carlyle Group since years before been raking in billions and itching for more. It's blood for oil, we know there's a link. They say Cold War, we say Cold Pink. It's blood for oil, we know there's a link. They say Cold War, we say Cold Pink. Cold Pink for freedom.
two sons, 19 and 22. And there's a good possibility a draft could happen, and I'm concerned that it would happen. And I've told my boys, both of them, if it ever happened, I would hide them away and I would go to jail first. My kids will not fight in war.
We say cold pink, for freedom, cold pink, for peace.
I mean, there is a power and a passion for mothers that is unique and universal. So I do believe that it's the women and the mothers who are going to have to be really leading us now.
Casey, was an amazing young man. He was so sweet, so gentle, so kind, so peaceful. He never missed Mass. He wanted to be a deacon in the Catholic Church. He just always wanted to help people, and he was quiet, but he was funny. He was profound. If someone's not a mother, they have a mother. And I think they can really relate. A lot of people, soldiers really have told me, I don't agree with your message, but if something like that happened to me, my mother would be doing the same thing. So I think it really resonates, and that's why I think it's been so hard for the right wing to smear me and attack me, because there's really nothing to smear and attack. I'm just a mother trying to prevent this from happening to other mothers.
Boys, men, and girls, together we'll make peace. This world. We say cold pink, and they say cold fear. We say cold pink, and they say cold terror. We say cold pink, and they say cold war. We say cold pink, well they say cold power. We say cold pink, and they say cold protest. We say cold pink, but they say cold charity. We say cold pink, and they say cold bush. We say cold pink for freedom, cold pink for peace.
Okay, good. Debbie looks good. You guys filled in up there? You're making the Debbie look awfully wobbly.
For women, boys, men, and girls, together we'll make peace. Cold pink for freedom, cold pink for peace, cold pink till hunger and war have ceased. Cold pink for women, boys, men, and girls, together we'll make peace. Together we'll make peace. Together we'll make peace. They say cold war, we say cold pink.
As men have often forsaken the plow and the anvil at the summons of war, let women now leave all that may be left of home for a great and earnest day of council. Let them meet first as women to bewail and commemorate the dead.
Let them solemnly take counsel with each other as to the means whereby the great human family can live in peace, each bearing after his own time the sacred empress, not of Caesar, but of God.
He was in the ROTC when he was in high school. He started actually middle school, the last year in middle school, like 8th grade, I guess it would be 8th grade. And he was there for a year and he liked it because it was, he had to wear the uniform and he was in the rifle team and they do rifle maneuvers, they have these things that they do. And they go to competitions, and he loved that. And whenever he decided to do something, he had to do it perfect. He had to do it right. But what caught his attention wasn't the Marines. It was, if you call for information, you'll get this weightlifting gloves, because he was very much in the weightlifting. He was a wrestler. So he sent for the information, and he said, I like this, look, these gloves are cool, because it said Marines there. So my husband told me, Andy, remember, nothing comes for free. He said, don't worry, once they gave me the gloves, I talked to them, and when I get the gloves, I said, I'm not interested. But it didn't work out that way. They go to the school, he talked to them at school, we didn't even know. And when he came here, he said, you know what, I'm going to get into the Marines. And we said, what? And I thought you weren't interested in that anymore. And he said, well, it was in the back of my mind. But don't worry, I'm only going to be in the reserves. And he was so excited when we went up to Tallahassee. He came back to the hotel one night and he said, you know, Mom, I can't wait to start this. I'm getting very excited. Why was this happening? He was supposed to be just a reservist. Why are they taking him to war? We thought that they will, you know, since he was only 18 years old, he was one of the youngest, they will leave him here working. They will leave him in California doing some sort of work, not take him. But they didn't take him. They took him. And he sent us about 3 letters, I think, from Kuwait. The good news is I already got my assignment at my camp, and my unit, no, my platoon. The bad news is I'm in the front lines. How do you understand that?
When I was in Iraq, of course, I think the thing that you noticed most was the suffering of the mothers whose children, like our children, are sent off to kill another mother's child, but also the children who are still in the home, perhaps being injured, wondering where father and brother are. A few days before the bombing started, Thursday was wedding day in Iraq, and in Baghdad we would see all these beautiful brides in their wedding dresses going in to have their photos taken at the photo shop, and outside would be their friends and family and strangers with tambourines, clapping, singing, wishing them joy. And I couldn't help but think these young women are, you know, have the same hopes and dreams of every single young bride in the whole world, and yet knowing within a couple days they might not have the chance to have a life with the man that they love and have the family that they want.
Yeah, thanks. Dear Laura, I hope you don't mind me calling you that, but on this day I just wanted to speak to you woman to woman, mother to mother. You see, this war has really gone too far. So Laura, this is what I'm suggesting, just to get you up to speed with some of the other mothers in the country, those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, those whose kids are stuck over in Iraq and Afghanistan in harm's way. Have George put his uniform back on. He'll like that part. And send him with the men in dress whose unfortunate job it is to notify those moms standing in their kitchens, working in their gardens, setting their tables for dinner. Those moms trying to distract themselves from the ever-present dread. Those moms praying as they wait for the phone to ring and they hear the voice of their child serving in Iraq. Let him be the one to tell them that this week the call will not be coming. Neither will the letter, ever. And then let him explain to them why they have made the ultimate sacrifice.
I listen to the radio. My husband usually put the radio in the kitchen when he's getting ready. The 2 Marines got killed, and I went to my room and I said, oh my God, please, I don't need to hear this. Please don't let it be Andy. Don't. I went to work. And in the afternoon when I came back, the first thing I did, I called the unit up here. And I told them, please, I want to know where's Andy. They said, they checked and said, what's his name? And I gave him his name and his social security. And they said, let me check. And then the guy came back and he said, well, do you know what? I'll find out for you and we will let you know tomorrow. And that evening I was sitting at the table and I saw a car stopping by in the driveway, a big SUV. So I thought it was one of my relatives coming to visit. It was around 9:30. So it was kind of late, but I was doing some work. And so I said, I wonder who it is. So then it was quiet. And then I looked and I saw four Marines on their, dress blues, coming in. And I knew it wasn't a good news. And then I thought, maybe they are coming to tell me because they found out where Andy is exactly. But then they said, how could they be coming all the way here to the house dressed up like this? So my husband was sitting here watching TV, and I was sitting over there, and I went, Oscar, it's them. He said, who is them? I said, the Marines. I said, what, the Marines? They are there. And he opened the door, and they said, can we come in? And we said, my husband asked them questions, what happened? So I told we wanted to believe that he was hurt. He was just hurt. Then they came, they told us. And I thought they made a mistake.
In the hospital, I remember my first day in there. There was a doctor sobbing as he worked, so terribly overworked with the steady stream of innocent civilians in all stages of life and death coming in. But I remember him pointing from bed to bed to bed, calling out names of children who had died there because of shrapnel, cluster bombs, being caught in the middle, not knowing in their total innocence why and what. And then often their parents and their mothers coming in. Many of them had sent the children away to a relative, thinking a safer place perhaps, and yet nothing was safe. And so they would come into the hospital looking for their child or a loved one, and oftentimes that search would end up out in the back of the hospital where the vans were that the dead were taken.
A lot of Native nations are matriarchal societies. It might not seem that way in our new modern world, but it still is. And in the matriarchal societies, the women held a lot of power. So in a time where there might have been discussion of war, in our matriarchal societies, the women were the ones who chose whether to go to war or not. And one can understand why, because the women don't so quickly jump into a fight or get kind of hung up in the glory of the battle or the prestige or the power. But we see it in the eyes of our sons and our husbands. and our uncles, our fathers, and our grandpas. And we remember how long ago we buried them, and how in all of the wars today we bury them, and how we are burying our daughters in the wars that are happening now. And my personal heartfelt feeling is that if once again they would let the women make this choice, there would be a lot more discussion had before it would be the choice to go to war and to kill.
In the name of womanhood and humanity, I earnestly ask that a General Congress of Women without limit of nationality may be appointed
and held at some place deemed most convenient, and the earliest period consistent with its objects to promote the alliance of the different nationalities, the amicable settlement of the international questions, the great and general interest of peace.
I've enclosed with my letter a little gift. It's a board game called Risk, the game of global domination. He and Rummy, Condi, and Dick can play it together and practice war strategies. In jail. They can They can see what happens when, for instance, you put all your troops in one country and then try to invade another country. I guess, Laura, that's just about it. Just tell him we don't want our kids to die, or the kids in Iraq to die. We don't want our kids coming home damaged from having killed. We really don't. Or as Julia Ward Howe said on the first Mother's Day, let them solemnly take counsel with each other as to the means whereby the great human family can live in peace, each bearing after their own time the sacred impress, not of Caesar, but of God. Susan Sarandon, thank you. And happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers and all of those who mother.
I'm a retired teacher now. I taught little children for, I think it was 33 years, and though actually I don't have my own children, I have always felt all these children are my children. At the peace vigils, I carry a sign that says, "Peace for our children, not war." And by our children, I of course mean all children, because all children are our children.
He got a very deep, deep voice. Deep voice. Everybody said, "Oh, how cute this kid." Because he was, "Mom, Mommy." The first day, they were bringing the babies, and you know, all the babies crying. You know, every 4 hours the babies are coming down the hall, you know, the maternity ward, crying. And all the babies crying, and this baby with a deep voice, you know, bah, bah, bah. And I thought to myself, is that a baby? I wonder whose baby that is. And then the baby stopped at my door. And they brought him in and said, I said, "Is that my baby?" And the nurse told me, "Miss Aviles, your son has such a set of lungs. He wakes up all the babies in the nursery." And finally he was walking. So you are always, you know, holding, like if they are coming, say, okay, come here, come here. So I was doing that to him, come here, come here. And he stood up and he big smile. He was coming towards me, running. And I'm going like this. And he passed me. And then he laughed. He got the biggest smile. And he was funny. He was killed by like a small, supposedly it was like a torpedo type of thing, I guess, that hit the tank. They stopped to cross the Delia River, a bridge that was messed up, and they stopped, and that's when they got hit. You know, at times I'm saying, you know, why did this happen? You wasn't supposed to be there. And it's very hard to understand. But at the same time, then you realize that life is so fragile. Because Andy, you know, he was one of those kids that you thought that never, nothing could happen to him.
I especially remember one beautiful young Iraqi woman, a pregnant woman, who came in. Missiles had struck her home and the entire block near no military installation. One arm had been destroyed, blown away. They took her baby by cesarean. Fortunately, it was almost full term, and it appeared that the baby would be all right, but in the meantime, the mother lost her other arm, which had been badly damaged. And when I would go to her room or by her room, you would hear her sobbing, you know, I can't hold my baby. I can't hold my baby. And I've often thought of that even now that I've been back in the States and have talked to mothers here whose sons or daughters were sent to Iraq and have lost their lives. And though these mothers have their arms still, they also are crying, I can't hold my baby. I can't hold my baby.
If this war would be, you know, we were being attacked and Andy had to go to defend us. Of course, I'll be grieving Andy, but I'll say he had to do what he had to do. But in this case, it was, they could have avoided. It didn't have to be. We have to speak out in order for people to understand what's going on. It will be easier, like for me to, or a lot of moms too, I guess, to say, okay, my son is a hero. Everybody's, look how much everybody's paying tribute to him, and so let me just stay quiet. Okay, you are always in pain, but let me stay quiet, you know. But for me, I have to speak my mind. I have to let people know how I feel. They need to know that, you know, this is not right. A lot of moms are suffering, a lot of children are dying. And we need to understand this is not right. Andy will be graduating, would have graduated this year from college. And so you keep on thinking, you know, the things that could have happened, could have been, and it will never be.
Smiling face, outstretched hand, through disputes, small and grand, we will
Fadeen, age 12, killed in a stampede in Baghdad, August 31st. Daughter.
I have the wife of Ahmed Chassa, killed in the stampede in Baghdad, August 31st, 2005. Very sad.
I have sister of Nadia Arif, crushed in a stampede in Baghdad, August 31st, 2005.
I got two. Hindi Ismail, 28, killed by gunfire, and the daughter of Selena Judai, who was only age 15.
Alan Yosef, a mother killed by gunfire in Mosul, September 21, 2005.
Another 3-year-old daughter of Hussein al-Tarish, killed in Baghdad, July 10th, 2005.
Wife of Hussein al-Tarish, a mother killed in Baghdad, July 10th, 2005.
Wife of another man killed, roadside bomb, Baghdad, June 27th, 2005.
Maha Ibrahim, killed by gunfire, Baghdad, June 26, 2005.
Hussein Masla, a mother, car bomb in Balad, July 30th, 2005.
Daughter of Hussein al-Tarish, a child killed by gunfire in Baghdad, July 10th, 2005.
Nafia Aziz, 49, a mother killed by gunfire in Mosul, October 3rd, 2005. Sally Abdul Wahab, age 23, killed by gunfire in Baghdad, July 22nd, 2005.
Mother of Hussein, killed by gunfire in Mosul.
Sierra Ashar Kamil, a mother killed by a bomb in Baghdad, November 18, 2005.
Daughter of a dead woman, 8 years old, car bomb, New Baghdad, November 12, 2005.
Russell Yassir, 11 years old, bomb, Jadiria, November 11th, 2005.
Wife of dead man, a mother, suicide bomb, Baghdad, December 8th, 2005.
Member of Garagul family, killed in airstrike on Makar al-Deeb, May 19th, 2004.
Through the fears and the mild, in our daughters and sons, Urinin Hana, Urinin Hana, where the earth touches sky, we are born, we all die, where the clear waters run, Urinin Hana, Urinin Hana.
Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Stop their killing, not one more. Mothers say no to war. This is a true Rose Garden. This is a true Rose Garden. Mothers and children here to stay. We're taking back our Mother's Day.
In the birth of a child, through the fears and the mild, in our daughters and sons, we are one, we are one, in our daughters and sons, we are one, we are one. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. never turning back.
We,
Gonna keep
the women
on
of
moving
one country, will be too tender of those of another country
Keep
to allow
on
our sons to
moving
be trained to injure theirs.
Keep on moving proudly, never turning back, never turning back. Gonna keep on singing loudly, keep on singing loudly, keep on singing loudly, never turning back, never turning back. Gonna keep on loving boldly, keep on loving boldly, keep on loving boldly, never turning back, never turning back. Gonna reach across our borders, reach across our borders,